Yes. No.
Checkmate.
Welcome, everyone, to the
Welcome.
Free Game Podcast. Welcome, Holden.
Welcome back, man. It's been a while since we recorded.
Yeah, it has. And I'm going to break the fourth wall a little bit immediately.
Wow. Shatter it.
Christmas was just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we record pretty
We have
far in
some
advance.
backlog.
Yeah, we have some backlog.
Yeah.
But, retrospectively,
Mhm.
I hope everyone had an amazing, beautiful, blessed Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I know I already said that on the Moncala episode. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm just happy to be here, man. And I'm full of holiday cheer.
Same, man. Same. I actually have a question for you.
Right now?
After, not after. Since...
Before.
Since you and I started the podcast,
Uh-huh.
which Christmas have you celebrated personally that's been your favorite?
Huh. Okay.
I'll go first.
Oh, okay.
I think
Go
that
ahead.
this Christmas 2 days ago,
The last one?
was my favorite Christmas since we've started recording the podcast.
Okay. Same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's actually a really, really good question.
Thank you.
Being that we've only celebrated one Christmas, so because we started the podcast
Like last month.
in November,
Yeah.
that would,
Yeah.
mean.
No, yeah.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
That was a good question, though.
And I knew that.
That was a really smart, good question.
I had a good Christmas, and it sounds like you did too. So.
Yeah, we had a great Christmas. I actually have a question for you.
Okay.
What are you sipping on this day?
I've got a little concoction
Oh,
that I like to call breakfast.
okay.
Because usually before work, most of the time, 4 days a week, I'll go to the gym before work, and
That was
I
my
will
neck.
drink.
I'm sorry, everyone.
That was very loud.
Yeah.
That traveled down your spine.
Yeah. Felt great.
I will drink this concoction after the gym
Mm-hmm.
as my breakfast
Post game.
for that day. Post game. Yeah.
What is
It's
it?
a mixture of water, vanilla protein powder,
Great.
and athletic greens.
Not a sponsor of this podcast.
No, but it is
Yet.
they do tend to sponsor podcasts. That's
Yeah.
how I found out about
Yeah.
them, from the Nate Land podcast.
Yeah.
Quick shout out.
But I mean, would you not recognize it? Would you recommend it to people?
Yeah, I do.
This is a free shout out to Athletic Greens.
I do think it actually does make me feel better in general.
That's good.
Have just a clearer mind.
Yeah.
I like it, man.
That's great.
So I don't like the flavor of it that much. On the podcast that they sponsor, I was like, it tastes great. And I'm like, okay,
It
doesn't really taste great.
Hey, Athletic Greens, if you ever sponsor us, we're going to be honest.
Yeah. It
We will
doesn't
not lie.
it doesn't matter that it doesn't taste great. It's not supposed to.
Exactly.
So I mix it with vanilla protein powder. It tastes a little better.
Yeah.
I drink that after I work out as my breakfast.
Yeah. So it's
I
like
like it.
mind food.
Mind
And
food
body
and
food.
body food. Yep.
Sounds great, dude.
Yeah, both kinds of food.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So what about you? Are you sipping on something today?
I actually am sipping on something today. This is something that I like to call a concoction. It's Arnold Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's from the Arizona Tea Company.
Okay.
And it is it has half iced tea and half lemonade.
Like an Arnold Palmer.
Like an Arnold Pummeler. Yes.
Palmer. Yeah.
It is my favorite drink ever.
Let me see that. The front of that can there. That looks like... Is that Arnold? Because that kind of looks like George W. Bush.
No, that's Arnold Palmer.
Okay.
He's
that
a
makes
famous
sense.
golfer.
Yes.
And I think one day he was in a golf club,
Mm-hmm.
clubhouse place. And they were like, what do you want? Do you want iced tea or lemonade? And he was like, mix them. I want both. And then he just started drinking it everywhere he went.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, wow, this is really, really good.
Smart.
And on the can, it says, great buy, 99 cents. But at the place I get it, they sell it for 68 cents
Really?
a pop.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Can you say where? Or do you not want to?
Winco Foods.
Winco Foods. I
Free
knew
shout
it.
out to Winco Foods.
I knew it.
I don't know if Winco is in Lebanon, to our listeners listening in Lebanon. I think that it's just an American chain.
No, yeah. Just in the
Is it even all over America?
I think it's just the Northwest.
All right. Well, that's
We're
what I'm
pretty
drinking.
lucky, is what I'm gonna say.
We've been going for some good minutes now.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a good time to pop into our topic.
Like
today,
I said, it was just Christmas. It was just your favorite Christmas since we started recording the podcast.
Yeah.
Or even had the idea for the podcast.
Correct.
So, Christmas isn't over yet for you.
It's not.
Young Holden.
Christmas isn't over yet for you either.
Yeah, that's true.
Big Justin.
Why don't you describe how we're seated right now?
So I'm seated in front of a small table. It's a nice table, sturdy.
Small little coffee table.
Oh, and touching that is probably gonna kind of give noises to our Blue Yeti microphone.
Probably.
So we're gonna be careful not to be too
loud, but
too loud on it.
You'll hear some things,
some little taps.
Yeah,
and
fine.
there's a big hamburger right in front of me.
Yes.
But the closer I inspect it, it's not a real hamburger.
Correct.
It's a rug in the shape of a hamburger.
Yeah, like a 2-dimensional.
Yeah, it's like pixel art hamburger, basically.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah. But the closer that I inspect it, there's something
between
underneath. Yeah. There's something underneath the hamburger.
Yeah.
There's like a box under the hamburger.
Some sort of box holding up the center part of it.
And I'll break the fourth wall. You told me not to look under the rug.
And you did.
I didn't.
Okay.
I have no idea what's under there.
This is specifically, it's a Big Mac.
Oh, that makes sense. Because there's 3 buns.
Yeah.
Aha. Aren't there tomatoes on a Big Mac?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there's not. All right, listen. Let's
Listen.
Are
these the pickles?
I believe so.
And this is lettuce.
Yeah, there's also diced onion on a Big Mac.
So that's these right here.
I would think so, yeah. My brother Ethan, who our listeners know from the soccer episode, made this rug.
Wow.
Handmade.
What a talented
rug
boy.
that's up on the wall behind your head there.
Wow.
Oh, and that one over there.
Wow.
He likes making rugs.
Hey, dude.
It's a cool hobby.
I like making... I've never done it yet, but I like doing it. Yeah. Probably. If he likes it.
You might. Yeah.
I might. I might hate it. We'll be honest.
You'd hate it, yeah. It's tedious, a lot of hard work.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I'm not into those things.
Not for me.
Nope.
So, you don't know what's under this rug. I do. I'm going to...
That's a little unfair.
Introduce... It's a game that's under this rug.
Ooh,
there's a hint.
That would be on theme.
Hint number 1. Yeah. On brand. I'm going to introduce this game.
Beautiful.
Okay.
And then I'm going to guess what it is?
And then I'll tell you. Okay. We'll get to that point.
Okay.
So, in 2018.
Sounds good.
Fantasy Flight Games.
Okay.
Published a unique deck card game created by Richard Garfield, in which players enter the world of Crucible as Archons in a race to collect Amber. Sold in individual decks of 37 cards, the first set, Call of the Archons, was released on November 15, 2018. The following sets, released to date, were Age of Ascension, May 30th, 2019, Worlds Collide, November 18th, 2019, Mass Mutation, July 10th, 2020, and finally Dark Tidings, released over March to May 2021, winning both the Fan and Academy selected Best Collectible Card Game at the 2019 Origins Awards. Today we're going to learn how to play, and discuss KeyForge.
I am ecstatic right now.
Why don't you go ahead and lift up the hamburger?
Oh, dude, because I know KeyForge, you haven't even opened it.
I haven't even opened it. I'll take that burger from you. Yeah, so this is a 2-player starter set. And
dude.
This is my Christmas gift to you.
Thank you, sir. Wait, for real?
Yeah, so you go ahead and open it.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And we're going to start from scratch learning how to play this game. I mean, I've watched a few videos, but...
I think I watched it, it was years ago, but I watched a few videos.
Years ago.
This is my keys, because I'm going to...
the loudest knife.
Use it to open No, I don't have a knife.
No, that I said the loudest knife.
Oh, I thought you said you don't have a knife.
Yeah. I swear, dude, you always think I'm just saying whatever.
Okay,
and it's my fault.
So I have a box.
We have a box.
It says KeyForge, Age of Ascension.
Yep, so the second.
And there's this big knight bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like a big knight.
And on the sides, there's other folks, too.
There's tons of folk.
There's a lady, there's a dwarf.
Are these
guy.
Archons?
Probably.
And then on the back, it says, enter the Age of Ascension with the second set of KeyForge decks. In this exciting game, where no two decks are alike, two players race to forge keys and unlock the hidden vaults of the Crucible. You didn't read this, did you? Did you put it in the intro? Okay, cool. With an incredible array of creatures, artifacts, and abilities, each deck is one of a kind and no two battles will ever be the same. Age of Ascension features 204 new cards, creating an entirely new pool of unique decks for you to discover, explore, and master. Oh, dude. Within the starter set, you'll find two completely unique Archon decks, each offering a combination of cards unlike any other deck in existence. Contains everything two players need to start playing KeyForge. Dude, thank you so much. This is so sweet of you.
You're welcome.
Really, thank you.
My initial plan for today was to take you to a local game store and try to buy this game or a different game.
Uh-huh.
But even if we could find KeyForge decks, which we can where we live, but we'd have to get all the amber, all the other pieces. So I found this, and I was like, "This is. We'll just have this ready to go."
Okay, so there is a bit of setup. Okay. So do we want to press pause here really fast so that we can kind of punch out all these little things?
Yeah, we'll take a quick break.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so let's each choose a deck to play with. I'm gonna choose this one.
All right, should we open?
Yeah, I'm gonna open mine up, dude. Okay, so I heard about this game years ago, and I've been talking about it forever. And so that probably tipped you off.
Well, I remember the day you told me about it. I was like, that sounds really cool. Actually.
Yeah. This is a game where you and I played.
Who'd you get, by the way?
Oh, does it tell me? Inscrutable Two Eyes Cecil.
Really?
That's his name.
I got the Incongruous Professor.
Ooh. Incongruous. What does incongruous even mean?
We're going to find out.
I bet we are. Alright, so we both play Magic the Gathering, right? I mean, come on.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah. And so, what is this? I'm guessing that this is the identifier card, and then the rest of the backs of these cards are okay, cool. That sounds good. So this is one of those games where the creator of Magic was just like, you know what? I want to make a game that's like how Magic was supposed to be. So you just get a deck, and that's it. You can't add cards, you can't remove cards, and you just play. And I'm so stoked for it. Hey guys, it's well, they've already been welcomed, Justin. Remember? So it's Holden and Justin from the future for Holden and Justin from the beginning of this episode.
Yeah. From our point of view, this is the future.
From their point of view.
Their point of view.
This is the future.
And for the listeners, it's all the same.
It's all the past. And then for us, right now, it's the present.
It's the present. Currently. When we listen to it later, it'll be the past.
Correct. And because time will have gone by. Yeah. And so we just wanted to cut in here to do a bit of a re-recording because the first time we recorded this part of the episode, we opened up my KeyForge box. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
And we played our first game live. Yep. And it ran a bit like this.
A lead foot? I'll give him a lead foot.
Oh.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay. Ooh, okay.
Okay, good. Yeah. No. Yes.
Why?
I don't know. Yes.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's easy to understand.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that really fast.
Probably not, right?
No.
This is interesting.
No, I don't think so.
What does that even mean?
Because, like, with the But okay, so that makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Nope.
That's pretty cool.
So just imagine that for about a solid hour, and you can imagine why we might have wanted to do a re-recording.
Retake, yeah.
So we're not going to be playing any KeyForge right now. We're just going to talk about KeyForge because I have actually played quite a few more games since then.
Which I'm glad to hear.
You've played one
full game.
One full game.
Total.
And so, yeah. But you have a good idea, right?
I get it.
And so I really quickly wanted to mention that later on in this episode, so we're gonna do a quick re-recording right now, right? That's gonna fit right into the middle of the episode.
Yep.
Then there's gonna be another ending segment.
Yeah.
Because I listened to the whole episode from the past for us. It's all from the past, right?
Okay.
For the listener.
Yeah.
But from the past where we talk about like reviews and stuff. But in that section, I just happened to be a complete genius and say something that is completely wrong.
Really?
Yeah. So I say,
the game.
Yeah, about the game.
Oh.
So I say later on, and the reason why I'm not going to take it out is because it's like sandwiched between good content.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to leave it in.
It's great.
You know, please try and understand, viewers at home, listeners at home. But I say that to play this game, you buy 2 packs and shuffle them together and then play it. You don't have to do that.
Correct.
You just buy 1 pack. It's like $8.99 and that's your deck.
Which is interesting because when we opened up KeyForge, it was a starter kit. There were 2 decks in there. Total. We didn't do any shuffling of mixing of decks.
Yeah. And I still thought that. Yeah. I was like, these are started. I don't know what's wrong with me.
No, look, it's a new game for us.
It's a completely new game. Yeah. Well, it was a new game.
Yeah, for the third time.
This bit is so stupid. And so I just kind of wanted to really quickly talk about how the game works. Okay, because
quick overview.
We're not going to have any of that. Because like in the original recording, we read through the rule book. Yeah, it's very clumsy. And so I just kind of want to walk through how the game works.
Let's do it.
Okay. So in KeyForge, your goal is to forge 3 keys. Each key.
I think they got that idea from the name of the game.
They named it and then they were like, now how would that have to apply to this game?
Let's make a game called KeyForge.
And how would it work?
Yeah. So yes, you forge 3 keys.
You forge 3 keys and
they are forged with amber.
Ember.
A-E-M-B-E-R.
Yeah, so...
I think in the thing it says pronounced amber.
It does?
Or in the Wikipedia article, at least. Because I had an intro, right? That you've heard already. Not talking to you.
Yeah.
You've heard it too.
I have.
But, yeah, it said that. So Wikipedia, you know, who can say whether that's definitive? Is that a word?
We should just call it amber.
Amber.
Okay.
I like it.
And amber is just like a, you know, generic fantasy... resource, you know, and
currency.
You forge keys with 6 amber. Each key costs 6 amber, and you gain amber by playing cards, like playing creatures, reaping creatures, stealing amber from your opponent. There's a lot of different ways that you can get amber.
I will say this. In reading about this game before we opened it, I thought that you'd be gaining amber much quicker. But like it is like a currency, you have to earn it.
Yeah.
There's actually probably less than half of the creatures that you play, not even just the cards, but the creatures that you play give you amber. Well, and also I think that what you and I need to remember is that in this game there are houses which are kind of like, I don't know how you'd put it. It's like a class.
It's like a class, right?
Yeah.
And there are 3 houses in your deck, right? Well, you and I so happen to open up 2 decks that share 2 houses.
Yeah, overlap.
So there's like 7 houses in this game.
Okay.
And we only have 4.
We only know how 4 of them.
4 of them kind of work, right? So there could be some classes that are just like super amber heavy, and we have no idea.
Oh, that's
right. Because I haven't looked into anything other than these cards, and I kind of did that on purpose because I'll explain why in a little bit. And so, each game, it's a turn-based game, right? And so on each turn, there's like phases, there's like steps to it. So do you want to walk through the steps?
Yeah, so when you start your turn, you have normally 6 cards in your hand. And you pick a house, and you have to play cards from that house if you have them. Or if you've played cards in your past turns, you can use the abilities of those cards of that house and no other house.
Yeah.
Unless you have a card that says, do
otherwise
one other house thing.
Yeah.
Which happens.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and then you can fight with creatures. You can reap with creatures, which means that's all you can do within that turn, and you gain normally 1 amber. Or what else do you do with creatures? Or if they have an activate ability.
Actions, right? So basically, anytime that you pick a house, right? You can only do anything that you want to do within that house.
Yes,
that's kind of like the limitation of the game.
Yep.
Then you can do. There's a lot of things that you can do in a turn. You can play cards. You can discard cards. You can just discard cards if you want to. That's gone. That's gone now. Hey, what are you drinking, by the way?
It's a double drink episode today, actually.
It is. So
I don't remember what I was drinking in the past because they're listening. Today I'm drinking a sparkling ice, and it's fruit punch flavored.
Oh, cool.
It's flavored sparkling water.
I think that you were drinking a concoction that you called breakfast.
I think you're right. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I still have that in my backpack. Not the same one, same concoction.
Yeah.
Later date.
Yeah.
Still in the past for those listening.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not gonna drink it. Do you have a drink over there?
I do, actually. This is a sparkling ice coconut pineapple.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I tend to like coconut pineapple flavor a lot more than I like fruit punch.
I gave you the choice.
I know. Holden offered me. He laid out the flavors that he had.
Yeah.
He offered me a sparkling ice. I picked fruit punch. I hadn't tried fruit punch before. That's
okay. Is it good?
I like it. Yeah,
me too.
I'm going to grab my lid.
Yeah, grab it really fast.
Or should I not?
No, grab it.
Valjean's not going to jump up on this table and knock it over.
No, because Valjean's not here.
No. This is a 2-drink,
2-location episode.
2-mascot episode.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep. My kitty cat is here right now.
What other episode was like that? Marvel Snap, huh? The first one.
Yeah, the first one.
Anyway, all right.
So you can play cards, you can discard cards, you can fight with your creatures, and anytime that you play a creature, you play it exhausted, which is like laying it on its side, right? And then
what's the magic equivalent?
It's called tapped. Right?
Okay.
And so then later in your turn, you will ready your cards, which is putting them like standing up, right?
At the end of your turn.
Toward the end of your turn.
Toward the end of your turn.
Yeah, because the end of your turn you draw. But anyway, if you have creatures that are ready in the house that you chose, you can fight your opponent's creatures with your creatures. You can reap with those creatures, which means that you exhaust them, so you put them on their side and you get 1 ember for it. Or you can do action abilities. So some cards just say like action, do a thing.
And then you exhaust them and you do the thing.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So then after playing cards.
After playing cards, after you've played and exhausted all the cards of your house that you so desired, you ready all the cards that are exhausted, draw your hand up to 6, and then pass the turn.
Yep. There's no maximum hand size in KeyForge. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
There's no maximum hand size, but if you already have 6 cards in your hand, when you go to draw, you just don't draw.
Okay.
And so that's kind of like how the game goes back and forth.
One more thing.
Yeah, what's up?
At the beginning of your turn, before you do anything, if you have enough amber to forge a key...
Oh, yeah, that's the first step.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah.
Step 1.
Yeah.
Then you pick a house, get into the rest of the
Even if you don't want to forge a key, if you have enough amber, you have to forge it. And sometimes that really does matter, because like there are sometimes... And it has to do with the fact that this game is built on the parameters of your opponent can't do anything on your turn. So while when it's your turn, at the end of your turn, after you draw your cards, if you have enough amber to forge a key, you say check.
Okay, and then your opponent has time to respond to that.
And try to
Their
stop
turn
ya.
is trying to stop you from forging your key. And so if you have like an insane amount of amber, let's say that you have 12 amber. So it's like if you do nothing, if your opponent does nothing, they're going to win in 2 turns.
Okay.
If you somehow make their keys cost way more, they can't just be like, "Oh, I'm just going to wait until I can destroy your thing so that my
They
keys
have to
cost
spend
less."
11 of them because
They have
you've played all
because
these.
you put in the effort to do all that stuff. So it's one of those things where it doesn't seem to make sense, but then when you play it, it makes sense because you put in all this energy. You wasted your entire turn just trying to stop them. I mean, you didn't waste it. You stopped your amber gaining probably to stop them from getting amber, or to halt them, to make it more costly for them to forge a key. You better forge that key, right? It just makes sense.
In the game you and I played, you won.
I did. I don't want to. I'm undefeated at this game so far.
I know. And I got way closer to winning than I thought I would. Honestly.
We were one. I mean, if you made. He was playing. Go for it.
I drew my hand on my second to last turn. I drew my cards. And I think it was then I drew 2 of the same cards. And I was at the bottom of my deck. And I had just played a card where I could shuffle any amount of creatures into my deck.
So you had planned. Yeah.
Yeah. And I still drew 2 of the same card that I hadn't drawn before.
Yeah.
I didn't shuffle them back in. They were there.
That's so rough.
And then during my turn, I was able to draw 3 more cards. 2 of those cards were identical, and they allowed me to play a card of the other houses.
Helper bot.
Yeah. But I could only do that one time because I only drew 1 creature of the other house.
Yeah.
And that made it so that because of all these cards I had, your key cost 10 amber to forge.
Yeah.
Instead of 6.
6.
And if I had just drawn 1 more creature, then we even looked through my top 2 cards, and I would have gotten a creature that made it so that yours cost 11.
Well, because the top card of your deck says play the top card of your deck.
Yeah.
So if you would have drawn that 1 card, you would have played the top card of your deck, which would have been a creature, and it would have, because he had a card out.
So that you were 1 amber short of forging a key.
Yeah.
And then I would have had 1 more turn.
So you were 1 card away. I was 1 crazy. Amber away.
But also,
it was super close.
Anyway, you might have won that turn after because I had captured some of yours and it was just sitting there on a 4 power.
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're using that as an example to say like you can go back and forth and try to control the amber of your opponent.
Definitely. Yeah, so there's like certain ways that you can get amber from your opponent, which is really cool. One of them is called capturing. That's when you play a creature, or sometimes, it isn't a play. Sometimes your creatures will just say a certain thing happens and that makes you capture amber, right? So whether you play it, whether you attack something, but capturing just means that you take amber from your opponent's amber storage and put it on your creature.
That's something that took me a long time to learn.
Yeah.
Because there's that one turn where I was like, all these creatures capture this amount of amber, so you give me 1 amber. And you're like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah, that's something that in the original recording, we did it wrong.
Really?
Yeah, so I was like, we can't use this, So, so there's capturing, and then there's stealing, which is literally what it sounds like. I take amber from you and put it in my amber storage.
I need to remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's other parts of the game that are really, really interesting. I think are super interesting, like chains. Do you want to explain how chains work?
Yeah. So some cards give you or your opponent chains. Chains is you have a little tablet that counts from like 1 to, 18? It's pretty big.
I think it's 24.
And so you have a little thing that highlights one of those numbers, and it's just however many chains you have. So a chain means when you go at the end of your turn to draw cards, you draw that number less than you would have.
Yep.
And then the chain goes down by 1. So you lose a chain.
Yep.
And then on your next turn, if it was 3 the first turn, you only draw however many you were going to draw back up to 6, -3.
Yep.
The next turn, it's 2.
Yep.
And at one point, I put 6 chains on you.
So I just didn't draw cards for like 5 turns.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that was the reason I think that I caught back up.
Definitely.
Because, and I'll say this, when we started playing, there was one moment that made me think this more than the rest of them, but you played a card and it was like destroy all creatures with even power.
Yeah.
And it was half of mine.
Yeah.
None of yours.
Yeah.
But so I was like, okay, this isn't gonna go well. But I think because of those chains and obviously everything else,
yeah,
like it was way more balanced than I thought it would be. I mean, it came down to the line.
That's something that I noticed. Like, so I played with my brother-in-law. I played this game, and I've played the game. So we only have 2 decks available to each of us, right? Like one for you, one for me. And so when I played it with my brother-in-law, he would play. I think that your deck is the Incongruous Professor, and mine is called like Inscrutable Two Eyes Cecil, or something like that.
Yeah.
Such a cool name.
Yeah.
And so I would play with Cecil, he would play with the Professor, and then we'd switch back and forth just to kind of see how they work.
Yeah.
And I noticed that one of the decks, I can't remember which one it is, and it doesn't matter to the listeners or whatever, one of them always has like an insane start, like crazy start. Yeah. And I remember sitting there and I saw him gaining this advantage, and I was like, there's no way I can catch back. And then I did. Every time. It's real. I don't know how they balanced it so well.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that it's not just these 2 decks that are balanced.
Not.
I'm guessing all of them are really well balanced. And that's such a feat, right? Because these decks are procedurally generated. You know what? We'll get into that later. Okay. I want to talk about a couple more things. I have our quick start little guide here, just so that I'm not forgetting anything. And something that I just read is that there are card types that we really need to talk about.
Okay.
So there's creatures.
Yes.
There's artifacts.
Yes.
Artifacts and creatures both enter the battlefield exhausted.
Okay.
And artifacts, I mean, a lot of the time they work like a creature. It's just that you can't fight with them, right? You can't reap with an artifact, but they still have like action abilities most of the time, or they have like a stagnant ability, like, hey, these specific creatures get +2 power, things like that. Then there's action cards, which if you're familiar with Magic are like sorceries. So it's just like spells, right? Yeah. They're not permanent. They don't stay around. You play them once. They happen, you put them in the discard pile. And then there's upgrades, which our decks don't have a lot of upgrades in them.
Yeah, that's true.
But do you want to explain upgrades?
Yeah. One of the houses I have in the Incongruous Professor deck, one of the houses is Brobnar. One of the upgrades that Brobnar house has in my deck is it heals one of my Brobnar creatures. Actually, I don't know if it's Brobnar specific.
I think it just has to be.
But the card is a Brobnar upgrade. And however many it healed, that creature gets that many plus power.
Yeah.
Added power, and then each turn it goes down by 1 slowly.
Yeah. But it's just like it's like an equipment that you put on your creature that just buffs it.
It attaches to it, does something. I mean, that's the only equipment I can think of that I've come across.
Yeah, I have one that when I put it on a creature, I can move the creature around in the battle line. Yeah. Which we'll talk about the battle line, because at first I didn't think it was that important, but it's really important.
Pretty important.
And so then there's fighting. Okay, so fighting is a lot less important in KeyForge than it is in like games like Magic.
You think so?
100%. Because in KeyForge, your goal is not to bring an opponent's life total down to 0.
Yeah.
It's to gain. It's basically you're trying to gain 18 life. Right? So if you have a magic-centered brain, it's kind of hard to think about it, because when I played the first time, I just wanted to swing my creatures all the time. But if you're not gaining Ember, you're not doing anything. You're losing. Yeah. Right? And so the only time that you want to fight with your creatures is when their creature is hindering you from gaining Ember. Right?
Yeah.
So what fighting is you take your creature and you choose which creature of your opponents you want your creature to fight. They both deal damage to each other equal to the power that's on that creature. and then, I mean, that's it. And then they get damage counters put on each other.
That's
one of them will probably die.
That's one of my favorite things about KeyForge.
Oh, okay.
Because in Magic, if I have a 13-13 and you have a 12-12, I beat it, and there's like no downside to this card. It just is tapped or exhausted.
For that turn, it's a 13-1, and then as soon as your end step happens and you do your, I forget what it's called, cleanup step.
Okay.
It gains
it goes right back
12 more defense.
But in KeyForge,
it stays there.
Cumulative.
Yeah, so you have a card called Lollop the Titanic. It's an 11 power crazy dude.
Yeah,
big
dog.
And if you're a Magic person, there's no casting cost to any cards. Like if you choose Brobnar, you can play any amount of Brobnar cards in a turn. Okay? So he can just play an 11 cost or an 11 power dude. Right? And also some creatures have like defense on them.
Yeah.
And the way that I think about it is that like damage is permanent, defense is permanent. That's how I think of it in KeyForge. Because in Magic, it's the opposite. It's almost always temporary. Okay. And so when I attack a creature, if it's like a 4 power and 4 toughness, like 4 shield, there's a little shield. If I attack it with a 4 power dude, every turn it won't deal any damage to your guy.
Yeah.
Right? And if I attacked it with a 5 power guy, it would deal 1 damage, and that 1 damage would stay on your guy forever. The thing is that it's not for attack and for defense. It's just for power.
Yeah.
So if you have a 4 power dude and I attack it with a 3 power dude, you now have a 1 power dude.
Yes.
Forever.
Yeah.
Until it dies or you give it stuff back.
Right.
And so that means that if you attack one of my things, it no longer has 4 power. It's not like, oh, it's on its last legs. No, it's just a 1 power. It's like, it's energy, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. And so there are some cards that say like, for every 5 power card you have, well, if it has, if you have a 5 power card and I deal 1 damage to it, it's not a 5 power card anymore, right? Which is really cool. I cool. Love that system.
I love it too. This is my second trading card game, really, that I'm learning. So I have to really think about it.
Well, that's not true.
This kind of stuff.
Because you learned.
I mean, yeah,
Marvel Snap.
Yeah, that's true.
So KeyForge and Marvel Snap are collectible card games.
Because
you don't trade.
They're not
cards.
trading. Here's the thing about Marvel Snap. The difference is I don't have to do any of the math in Marvel Snap or any of the. It just tells me what.
That's true.
But in Magic and KeyForge, I'm calculating things
all the time.
It might not seem like it, but I am.
Yeah. No, it seems like it.
Okay.
You sit there for a while. One other thing that I wanted to mention about creatures, this is actually insanely important. So it's not like, oh, just one other thing. It's like really important.
Okay.
You have this thing called the battle line. So in Magic, I'm sorry if you don't play Magic. Yeah, I'm sorry. But it's just the easiest way for me to describe this. Is it a trading card game or is it a collectible? What?
Magic.
Magic is a trading card game.
Anyway, it's like the biggest combat card game. I don't know how else to describe it.
Trading card game.
Because it's not like a Phase 10. It's like a...
No, it's a trading card game. Yeah, it's like the biggest trading card game out there.
So...
I mean, at least the biggest played one, because I know that Pokemon's pretty big, but nobody plays Pokemon. They just want to buy the cards because they look really, really cool.
If you don't know how to play chess or Magic,
you have a severe. And also, we don't have an episode about either of those.
Yeah.
So, but it's fine. I mean, it's not like we're the only people on the internet who are making tutorials.
Smart,
yeah,
man. They know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And we still sit there and try to explain it.
Yeah.
Every which way.
Seriously, but on the battle line, like think about it in Magic. You have your lands down at the bottom and you have your creatures up at the top. That's just kind of the way that it goes. You don't have to do it that way. I don't know if you knew that. I've played against people who have lands up front and creatures in the back, and I'm like, you're just trying, but they're just trying to be different because it's like everybody does it the other way, you know. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
The order of where you put your cards in Magic doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. In this game, it does.
It does.
You have where your creatures go is where your creatures go, and where your artifacts go is where your artifacts go. They don't intermix. You can't do that.
Correct.
And the creatures go on this line, and it's called the battle line. And so you play your first card, it goes to the middle of the battle line.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you play your next card, it has to go either to the left or right, right? And then the next card after that has to go either to the left or right. It can't go in the middle.
Yes.
Right? It has to be on a flank is what they call it.
Yep.
So a flank is when a creature is on either end of your battle line. And it matters a lot more than you think. Because there's tons of cards that say, if this card is on a flank, it does this.
Yeah.
If this card is not on a flank, it does this.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're having to think where you want to put things. And then also there are cards that say like, the neighboring friendly cards here. So that means that like if I have one creature in the middle and two cards on either side, those are its neighbors, right? They'll say things like the neighboring cards to this card get +2 power. Well, that super matters when you're putting all of your dudes out, right?
You want to maximize that.
Exactly. And so that's the battle line. Super important.
Very important.
If you haven't played the game,
very difficult to visualize.
That's true. It's difficult to visualize, and also like even if you can visualize it, it's one of those things where like I just gotta play it. I'm not gonna be able to figure out why that's important. But just keep it in mind if you're going.
I don't know if no, I'm saying I don't know if they're gonna hear when I put a Skittle in my mouth.
They probably can.
It hit my teeth.
This guy's eating Skittles. That's fine.
I'm eating Skittles tonight.
Yeah. And so one thing I wanted to mention that's really cool.
Okay.
If you get a deck and you start playing with your friends and you find a combo in there that goes infinite, there are some infinite combos in KeyForge.
What do you mean by infinite?
Like cards that say when this card I don't know, just cards that basically I think that the way that infinite goes is that it will always ready your creature. So it's like whenever a creature gets untapped, tap this creature. And then this one says whenever this creature gets tapped, untap another creature. And so you can just keep tapping them over and over and over.
Oh.
And then you can reap with that.
Oh, wow.
So in KeyForge, there's this thing called the rule of 6.
Okay.
If you can do something infinitely, you can only do it 6 times.
Okay. Wow.
That makes sense, right? I just learned that yesterday.
Yeah.
Because there's no infinite combos.
Our
decks don't have infinite combos.
That is good to know.
Super important to know because I imagine there's some people out there that haven't, because that's not in this rule book.
Yeah.
But
they're like, I have infinite amber.
Infinite amber, and I win. So
give me 2 turns. Sorry.
Yeah. Oopsie. Unless they have I have a card that says like, if an opponent has 5 or more amber, reduce it to 4.
Oh yeah.
That's 5 or more.
Sorry, bud.
Yeah. Yeah. So then there's a couple other things that I wanted to mention. Stun. Stunning is sometimes your opponent's cards will have like, if a creature reaps, stun it, right? Stunning just means that it can't do what you want it to do, right? So your creature, if it's ready and it's stunned, you can't exhaust it for anything other than to unstun it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So there was a moment in our game where you did not unstun a creature. You just let it sit stunned. How come?
It was too much of investment to choose that house just to unstun that creature. Because you can only unstun it if you choose that house.
I didn't know
so it was a dis card. It was in the dis house. Yeah. And so and I didn't have tons of dis creatures out there.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I thought
it just skipped a turn, but it has to skip a turn where you're using that house.
Exactly.
Wow.
So to me, it just didn't matter.
Yeah.
It wasn't gaining me, and also it's like I could have used it to reap, but if I'm choosing to reap on my turn, I'm gonna choose the house to where I have the most creatures out, because then I can get the most out of it, right? I'm not just gonna that's why
picking which house you use is normally, everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Later on in this episode, somebody has a comment, like a review, where they say that they don't like the limitation of that.
Oh.
It's one of my favorite things about this game.
Yeah, it's really unique.
It's the strategy, because I think that limitation breeds creativity. And so when you're only able to choose one house and play all the cards from one house, you really need to think about when you're going to play these cards. And we'll get into sandbagging later. That's going to be super exciting. I'm quickly going to look up the definition of sandbagging just so I don't mess it up.
I talk about the archive?
Yeah.
So there's this spot, so that they come with play mats.
Mm-hmm.
Ours did, at least. Mm-hmm. And it tells you where the battle line is, where your artifacts go, where your, what do they call it, Archon?
Yeah, Archon.
Where your Archon goes, which is just your card that tells you what deck it is and what 3 houses are in it.
Uh-huh.
And then you put your...
And also on the back of it has all the rules, which is really nice. It's like a little rules reminder card. Yeah, it like tells you when to do which thing. Yeah.
That's right, I forgot about that. And then there's a spot for a discard pile and a spot for an archive.
Mm-hmm. Oh, archives. Archives, yeah.
Certain cards allow you to send other cards or that card to the archive, which is a pile of cards that accumulates, and you can check it anytime, look at them anytime, even though they're not revealed to the other player. And at the beginning of your turn, when you pick a house, you can say, I'm going to put my archived cards in my hand. Mm-hmm. And you put all of them in your hand, and you can play the ones that are of the house you picked, and then the other ones stay in your hand.
Yep.
So you have to think ahead a lot, because you're like, well, I don't want to fill my hand and not be able to draw.
Yeah.
So it's really...
But if you can deliberately choose which cards you want to archive, you can choose to archive only cards of a specific house.
And then have a big play.
And then have a huge play on that turn that you choose that house.
Yes.
It's really cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, so I think that covers almost everything with the game. Yeah. I mean, the first person to forge 3 keys wins. Mm-hmm. And yeah, dead air for 1 second as I read through this just to make sure I'm not losing anything.
No problem. I'll sip my drink and eat a Skittle.
Capture. Keywords omni stun splash. Counters. It's not that important.
I think it's important.
Okay, so now that we're kind of done talking about
back.
Super late. Like I'm halfway through my sentence. You're like, all right, folks, welcome back to the Free Game Podcast. So I have a list here of things that I wanted to mention that I think is super, super cool with this game and another game. Ooh. That I'll mention a little bit of. So I already talked about how flanks are important. Mm-hmm. When I first started playing the game, the flank thing didn't make any sense to me. Mm. And now it really, really makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's also because I play with this house called Sanctum, and they have this subcategory ability called Deploy, where you can put your card wherever you want in the battle line. So it just made my battle line like this really, really cool strategic zone.
There's a thing called Taunt.
Yeah, Taunt.
That changed our game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do you want to talk about how that worked in our game?
Yeah, so you had a card that was Taunt, which means, was it its neighbors?
Yeah.
It said its neighbors can't be attacked while this card is here.
No, that's not exactly what it said. That is what it means. But Taunt just says this creature's neighbors cannot be attacked unless they have Taunt.
Unless they have Taunt, right.
Yeah.
I was going to say that, but you interrupted me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. What? Go ahead.
Oh, but
That's
the reason why it was so key to the game is because one of the creatures that I had next to my Taunt guy was making your keys cost 5 more Ember.
5 more.
So in order for him to deal with my threat creature, he had to deal with a less threatening creature. Does that make sense? Like you had
less threatening, more powerful.
Exactly.
Creature.
Exactly.
Yeah. That took a while.
Yeah, it did. It did, and that really, I think that really hurt you in the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's why. That's part of the reason why the battle line is important, because there's cards like that, like you said, that affect their neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to mention, that I already mentioned a little bit ago, but I kind of want to go into more depth and kind of pick your brain on like how you think this works, is the fact that the game is not about the creatures and fighting. Right? Your creatures are a way of gaining Ember. They're probably the way that you're going to gain Ember the most.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like a level up moment for me when I realized, like, oh, I don't even need to attack. If there's nothing threatening on his side of the board, I don't even need to. Yeah. And that's so weird for me, Because in Magic, it's like, if there's nothing threatening on the board, I need to attack, right? Because you have to get your opponent down to 0 life, right? And so gaining Ember is your goal. I just want to like pound that in, because if you're going to play this game and you want to be semi good at it, right? Like that's super important to remember that is your goal. And fighting, it's like this. Fighting is like this weird, like secondary thing to the game.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Super, super interesting.
It's like you have to forge keys to win. To do that, you need a lot of amber. To get amber, you don't have to fight. But sometimes you do have to fight.
Yeah. Just like life.
Yep.
And then something else that I wanted to say that this kind of blew my mind as well. Because this doesn't make any sense to me and my Magic brain. But in KeyForge, card advantage just isn't that good.
Okay.
So card advantage in Magic and in, I'm pretty sure, other trading card games just means that you have more cards in your hand than you did before, basically.
Okay.
Right, so you're gaining cards in hand. Okay. So if you play a card in Magic that when you play it, it says draw a card, you're not gaining card advantage. It's called a cantrip.
Okay.
So it's going to your graveyard. You had 6 cards in your hand before. It goes to your graveyard.
Oh.
You now have 5. Then you draw that card. You still have 6 cards in hand. Card advantage would be if you have a card that says draw 2 cards. Now, instead of having 6 cards, you have 7 cards. Oh. That's card advantage, right? For example, in your deck, you have the Time Traveler.
Yes.
I think he's a really, really good card.
I agree.
But I don't think that he's like as good as he would be in Magic.
Really?
In Magic, he would be insanely powerful.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if in Magic you spent all the cards in your hand, you're going to draw 1 card at the beginning of your next turn. Right? So you need fuel.
Yeah.
In KeyForge, if you play all the cards in your hand, you're going to drop to 6.
Have you even played a game where you haven't exhausted your deck?
So that's another thing that we should mention. If you draw all the cards in your deck, you don't lose. In Magic, you lose.
Really?
If you draw all the cards in your deck in Magic, you lose.
I didn't know that.
So there's a strategy behind it. It's called mill, where you make your opponent, And then there's cards like Laboratory Maniac and Thassa's Oracle that say if you would draw the cards in your library and lose, you instead win. So there's huge combos that have to do with that. Yeah, I have a deck that does that. And a lot of people just unsubscribed from the free game podcast if you play Magic. So Time Traveler, right? It's a card, you play it, you gain an Ember. That's the best part about it.
That's true.
Right? And also it's good because there's another card that when you play it, gains an Ember and searches up that card and puts it into your hand so that you can play it.
Yes.
That's really, really good.
It is really good.
The only upside to drawing cards in this game is the possibility that you will draw other cards in the house that you've already chosen.
Right.
But having 5 cards in your hand versus 3 doesn't mean anything.
True.
Because by the end of the turn, you're going to drop to 6 anyway.
Yeah.
Now, if you have chains on you, drawing cards is really good because you want to fill your hand, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really refreshing to play a game that card advantage isn't the most important thing. Because in Yu-Gi-Oh, card advantage is super important. Pokemon, I'm pretty sure it's really important. I don't know. I've never played Pokemon. Magic, it's like the most important thing. Drawing cards is the best thing you can do in Magic.
We talked about this a lot the last time we played Magic.
Yeah, definitely. And it's very true. I'm not lying right now. It's still important. And another game where drawing cards isn't important is Marvel Snap.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't think that it's as good.
I have a deck in Marvel Snap.
Let's argue. Let's argue right now.
Okay, that I recently made where I play cards that force the opponent to draw cards. And then my big card gets +2 power for every card in their hand. That's the whole purpose of the deck.
Yeah.
It's all built around that. There's also a card that gets +2 power for each card you have in your hand. So you're wanting to draw cards and not play them, but you can only have a maximum of 7 cards. So another type of deck in Marvel Snap is combo decks.
Mm-hmm.
Most decks are this.
Mm-hmm.
But you have specific cards in your deck that you, if you can play them all together at the right time or whatever, then it's a huge combo. You're probably going to win.
Okay.
But if you don't draw the combo, even one of the cards in that combo, then...
Okay. I agree.
Okay.
And I'm going to switch. I'm going to say something different than what I originally said.
Okay.
It's a different opinion.
Okay.
And I think that I was dead wrong. I think that drawing cards is really, really good in Marvel Snap, but it's just not available.
I'm going to switch. I don't think it's that important.
Really? Okay.
I was like, hey, you want an argument?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
So drawing cards, it's probably good, okay? Mm-hmm. Because it just gives you more options.
Yeah.
Right? But you can only draw up to 7 cards.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the end of it. And then if you draw up to 7 cards and you don't have the card that you want, you don't get another card.
You have to play something that you didn't want to play.
I think that card draw is good, but it's just limited. And that's good.
Card draw can benefit either player.
Yes. Yeah.
As in, like...
If your opponent is drawing cards, that can benefit you.
I don't know that there's a card in Marvel Snap that I've seen that adds cards to the opponent's hand that aren't from their deck. Like, you can add stuff to their deck, but it's a chance if they draw it or not. Mm-hmm. Or you can force them to draw cards from their deck.
Oh, Black Widow.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
So she kind of hurts.
Yeah, she does. Black Widow's a really good card.
She gives you a Widow's Bite, which is a 0 cost, 0 power card. And you don't draw cards until that's out of your hand.
Yeah. So, I guess then it's even more refreshing that in KeyForge, drawing cards isn't that important. Like if you build, if somehow you could build a deck in KeyForge where you could draw a bunch of cards, I don't even think that it would be that good. Because it's like, sure, you could play all of your cards from one house, but I mean, I just don't think that it would
You'd be sacrificing the potential like combos and stuff.
Yeah.
And creatures and abilities for cards that just make you draw more cards.
Exactly. And it's well balanced enough that if you shoot ahead in Amber, your opponent can almost always stop you in forging those things. So, yeah.
So Time Traveler. The real reason he's good is he has an activate ability and a play ability.
That's true. His activate ability is really good.
When you play him, you gain an Amber and you draw 2 cards. And to do that, you'd have to be playing Logos. That's the house he belongs to. Logos cards on that turn. So you're hoping to draw 2 Logos cards so you can play them immediately.
Yeah.
It doesn't always happen, but I normally get at least 1.
Yeah.
But the potential to not draw any Logos cards, I mean, that's what makes it not as good as drawing cards in Magic, like we were saying. But his activate ability, when you activate it, he goes back into your deck, gets shuffled into your deck, instead of being discarded.
Yeah.
So you can just keep playing him, getting Amber and cards.
Because there's also a card that you can search your library for a card called Time Traveler, put it in your hand. It's a really busted combo. And here's the thing that I've actually noticed with Time Traveler. I hope that somebody out there listening, if you buy it, you get to play with Time Traveler because he's a really cool card. I doubt the chances of that are very low because this game is crazy.
I mean, out of all the decks I've seen on KeyForge, Logos is a part of them.
Yeah.
Oh, but you don't have Time Traveler in your deck.
I don't. So that's why I'm saying these decks are procedurally generated so that no deck is like another deck. Every single deck is different, and we will get to that. I'm so excited to talk about that. But what was I going to say? I was going to say something about Time Traveler. Yes, something that I've noticed with Time Traveler and a lot of other cards that I've noticed. Time Traveler, I actually never use his action ability
Okay.
Because the card that you use to get Time Traveler out of your deck also says search your discard pile. So I would always attack something with my Time Traveler, put it in the bin, just so that I can go grab it again.
Yeah.
And I think that's better.
And you don't have to shuffle your deck.
Exactly. Well, you do, because you have to shuffle your discard pile into your deck when you play that spell.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I love that card. And I'm envious because I want it in my deck, but that's not how this works. Segue. Did you see that? So this game was created by the guy who created Magic. And I talk about this a little bit, another part of the podcast, but I want to talk about it again because it's incredible.
Yeah.
When he created Magic, he had this idea that everybody would just buy some packs and just, with whatever cards they owned, make a crappy deck.
Okay.
That had very unique cards.
Okay.
Cards that nobody would even think about playing because it's all you have, right? This is what we call kitchen table Magic. It's one of the greatest things ever. You just go in, I mean, I have boxes of Magic cards. You go in there, you look for your cards, and you make a deck, and you just go like, okay, this is all I got, so this is the best I can do. And so there's going to be cards in there that just do stupid stuff, you know? Like there's this weird Ankh. There's like this old Ankh in Magic where like it's this 6 mana artifact, something ridiculous, and you tap it and it deals 1 damage to something. It's like, that sucks, but it's all I got, so I'm just going to play it and deal with it, right?
That's awesome.
There are cards in KeyForge that aren't very good, right?
Yeah.
But that's all you got. You got to play with it. Because it's like, you know, like in Magic, there are just bears. 2 mana, 2/2 bears. They're not good, but you play with them because that's all you got. You got to put 2 power on the board because if not, someone's going to hit you in the face, you know? And so that's what Richard Garfield had in mind, that everybody would just be playing with their bad decks against each other. There were weird, trashy combos that did weird, stupid stuff that took way too much mana. And then Magic just took a weird turn. Where everybody was optimizing their decks, looking for the best combos, and obviously they would. Who wouldn't do that? You know, because you look at somebody else's. It's a natural thing. And also in Magic, there was this thing called ante, where at the beginning of the game, you would reveal the top card of your deck, put it in the middle, and say, okay, whoever wins gets to take both of those cards.
Really?
But that was in the game. That's like you had to do it, which I think is awesome.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Cool.
But that's that idea, is that you're just playing with the cards that you just got from the candy shop. You know, you just got these cards, you're putting them together, that's your deck.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening was people played against each other and they saw, ooh, that's a really cool card. That would go really good in my deck. Where'd you get that? Oh, I just bought it. Oh, how much was it? $5. Oh, I'll just go get one and put it in my deck.
Yeah.
Wait, I actually want 4 of those. Okay. You know, $20. And then Black Lotus comes out. Everybody, it came out in the beginning, but it's like, $300 back then. And everyone's like, it's the best card. You got to buy it. So then everybody buys all these cards. They shoot up crazy in price. It becomes an expensive game, right? That's never what he wanted to happen. Okay. But that's the natural progression, right? How could he have known?
Right. It just happened.
And so with this game, he wanted to create that feeling of, this is my deck. It's crappy, but I love it. And so
in a way that's foolproof.
Yeah, literally. So you spend, I think it's $10 you buy a deck and that's it. It has a name on it so that you can't put any other cards in there. And the fronts and backs of the cards have those names on it. So you can't mess with it, right? I'm guessing that some people have done like underground KeyForge stuff where they like just say, hey, whatever cards work.
Yeah.
But like you can't buy singles for KeyForge online. Because why would you?
Yeah.
That's my deck.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love it so awesome. Much because now I have this thing where when I play games, I get connected to like decks, right? And so I'm just so excited that now that I have these, it's like, this is the only one of these that exists. And it's mine. And I get to figure it out from top to bottom and figure out all the stupid little janky combos and just do awesome stuff.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It's cool. In Commander, in Magic, overall, I have one Magic deck.
Yeah.
It's like play big creatures, hit your opponents.
Yep.
That's about it.
Yep.
None of that fancy magical stuff, really. I mean, some of it, but not really.
Yeah, no.
So you could so easily create a deck that's just goal is to ruin my deck that I have, my only magic deck, right? That can't happen in KeyForge.
No.
So it's
good point, Justin.
It's up to the people who created KeyForge to balance the decks. Like in Magic, I could play a game where it's like, okay, well, early on, I'm like, I'm not gonna win. Both these decks are doing these wild things that I don't understand, and my creatures are useless here. But that's not gonna happen in KeyForge. Every game is balanced, you know.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's great.
Some people, I know later on there's going to be some reviews about this because we are privy to that because we're in the future. But
that's a callback.
Yeah, to the beginning of the future segment.
Yes,
which is now the past for everybody who's listening.
Yeah. And for us now.
Yeah.
The beginning of this.
You're right. But there's somebody who kind of talks about how, and we touch on it, but it just relates right now. He says like that the fact that the deck is unique, like kind of becomes boring after a while. And I could not disagree more, Yeah. Like sure, the novelty wears off, right?
I mean, yeah.
But I just love the fact that like you're right, there's nothing that I can play that you're like, oh, that's so bad against my deck.
Right.
And if it is, it's like, well, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
You didn't make the deck. Dude. It's just chance.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Commander is a type of Magic where you have 100 cards in a deck, right? So I am still familiarizing myself with my one Magic deck. That's a Commander deck. It hasn't lost its novelty. I don't know that it will. Probably because the nature of Commander has something to do with that.
Yeah.
But like, that's my deck. I only have one, and I love it, man. And you guys don't have the deck. It's a pre-constructed deck. I didn't build it.
Yeah.
You guys don't have it. A lot of the cards in there you guys don't have because I bought it new when it was released. Anyway, so I like that feeling. Like, this is my baby right here.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like in Magic in general, that's a thing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like
especially if you build your own deck from scratch, I imagine it's even more.
Even if you play a deck that a lot of people play, like in Legacy, for example, there's this guy online. His name is Pleasant Kenobi. His thing is he plays Death and Taxes. It's a very popular deck, but that's like his baby. He knows it top to bottom, right? He knows all the different variants out there. Wow. And so when he sees somebody else playing Death and Taxes, he's like, my man, like we're buddies. We both do this thing, right? So there's that thing. Or like Brian from Tillerian Community College, he plays Merfolk. That's like his thing. He loves Merfolk, right? I have specific things with like different, formats and whatever. A lot of people play Derevi Imperial Tactician as their commander. But my Derevi deck is my Derevi deck. Even if somebody else had the exact same build, that deck is still mine. I know it really well, and I love it. So that's still a thing in Magic, but I think there's a distinct difference between I put every card in here because I went to the store and bought them and put them in my deck. Yeah. Versus I was given all these crappy cards and I got to figure it out. Yeah. And there's nothing I can do about it. I can't add better cards. Right. I just have to play with the cards that I have. It's beautiful.
It was a strange moment for me when I was like, oh, I could change my Magic deck. But I don't want to still, and I didn't want to because I was like, I don't know enough about Magic to build a deck. Yeah. I need someone else to do it for me, which is what I paid for. But in KeyForge, none of that even matters. Yeah. Yeah. It's cool.
I think the thing that I'm most excited for with KeyForge is that I can go get another deck for $8.99.
Dude, that's so exciting.
And also another thing that I want to talk about is that there are card sleeves, right? That you can protect your cards with. I'm never going to sleeve these cards. Okay. I want that feeling of just, passion to the wind. I don't care because like old Magic cards are torn up and stuff because kids play them on the pavement.
Yeah.
I want to play these cards on the pavement.
Yeah.
I want them to be rough and tumble.
Yeah. You want to use the deck after a while.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Because there's no other deck like this, and I'm not going to resell it. There's no resale value to this.
And it's never going to change that deck.
Yeah, it's my deck. I'm going to put a rubber band around it and a sticky note on it that says incongruent. No, it's on it. The name is on it. I'm just going to put a rubber band around it and throw it in my bag.
Yeah.
That's beautiful to me.
That's pretty cool.
You know?
Yeah. I tried to move my phone so we can't hear the vibration, and how was that so loud? Maybe the mic didn't pick it up this time.
Maybe. I don't know.
We'll find out.
Anyway, I'm going to check and see if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about. There's something else I wanted to... Oh, yes. One other thing I wanted to talk about. Okay. It's called sandbagging. Okay, I mentioned this earlier. Yeah. There's a strategy out there called sandbagging. And in different games, it has different connotations. Mm-hmm. So like in golf, it seems to be a pretty bad thing.
Okay.
It says deliberately playing below one's actual ability in order to fool opponents into accepting higher stakes bets. That's not cool. Don't do that. That's grimy and gross.
Slimy.
Yeah, don't do that. But
what's going to be so fun? Doing golf, dude.
Are we doing golf?
We gotta.
I don't know anything about golf.
I know a little bit. I've played 9 holes one time.
Wow.
And it's so fun.
I'm excited to do the most dangerous game.
What's that?
Have you heard of that short story?
Russian roulette? No.
There's a short story called The Most Dangerous Game, and it's like this guy. It's basically just like a manhunt.
Yeah. I've read that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's hunting. Like it's recommended reading.
Yeah, because humans are the funnest
thing to hunt. Exactly. Okay. Yeah.
Wow, we're gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
You can hunt my brother Ethan.
Yeah.
Or your brother Ethan.
The options are twofold.
Golf is gonna be a blast. You're gonna love it. Anyway, that'll be years.
So sandbagging, this is a better explanation of it, but I don't think that it's exactly what I'm trying to go for. So it says purposefully doing badly or failing a task to reduce expectations, and then when it counts, doing the best you can. The best you can do to exceed any expectations. So sandbagging is basically when you go by like the bare minimum. You're playing the least amount of cards that you need to get by. You're still doing all right, but you're just not doing as well as you possibly could surviving. Be. Sandbagging, getting a bunch of good cards in your hand, filtering out all the bad cards, just kind of like surviving. And then one turn, you take all those cards from your archives, you have this huge hand full of Brobnar, and you just dump it.
Awesome.
And it's so good. It's good in Magic. It's good in KeyForge. And that's something I wanted to mention because if you want to play KeyForge, that was a huge level up moment for me when I realized because the first time that you play it, you're going to have all these dis cards in your hand. You're going to play all of them. And then you're going to draw cards and you're going to have half your hand be Sanctum and half your hand be Logos or whatever your other things are. Then you're going to dump one of the other houses. Then you're going to dump one of the other houses. And you're kind of going to do this cyclical thing because that's what feels best. But I think that the best way to go about it is to play your cards and then reap them a couple times. Don't play so many cards. Chillax a little bit, Maybe even like if you just draw one other dis card, right? Maybe play that. Just chillax a little bit. Archive a couple cards, if you can. And then just start to build up this hand of all these really, really good cards and then just start deluging,
I've only played one full game. And we talked about sandbagging before. It's definitely something I want to keep in mind next time I play.
And you should also keep it in mind if you're pretty much in any game.
Yeah.
Any strategy game like that.
This time I wasn't really going for that because I fully didn't understand Archive. And also, this was my first game. I was like, let's just play. We have to record after this.
It kind of works like that in Small World too.
Yeah, definitely.
Where at the beginning you can just kind of put out some things, put them into decline, put out some things, put them into decline, and then get your Amazons and just sweep,
Oh,
and
boy,
then
did I feel that.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's sandbagging.
I kind of sandbag in life sometimes.
How's that?
Like sometimes I'll have to pee, and I'll be like, I really have to pee, but I have these 3 small little chores or tasks that I have to do. I'm not going to pee till I get those done. And then when I pee, I'm also gonna take a shower and then I can just hang out and play Marvel Snap and
yeah, I do that
relax.
too. I do that too.
Is that sandbagging, Holden?
I don't know if it's sandbagging.
Yeah,
I think it's just procrastination, or
maybe
just
no,
like
it's not. It's the opposite.
Yeah,
it's procrastinating peeing because I'm like I really have to pee.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna pee until I do what I need to freaking do.
Sarah does that. Not with peeing, but Sarah does that in that she's all about like mind.
You're like
set.
She won't talk to me until.
No, it's all about mindset with her. So I'll say something like, "Hey, half of dinner is ready.
Mm-hmm.
I want to eat this half of dinner, and then when the other half of dinner is ready, we'll eat that half."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "No, we'll just wait till all of it's done because if I sit down to eat, I'm not going to want to sit down to eat again.
I don't want to sit down for an hour."
Yeah, exactly. Well, but my idea of it is like sit down, eat, go do some things, then sit down and eat again. And she's like, "Dude, I'm eating dinner, I'm eating dinner." I know,
It's fine.
Yeah, but whatever. She kind of does that to where she's like, "I want to do this, then do this, then do this, and I can't do them all at the same time, and then I'm gonna just veg, you know?"
Yeah.
And I do that too. Everybody does that.
Great.
I don't know if it's sandbagging though. I think that sandbagging would be like
to procrastination.
in life. Sandbagging would be something like, "Oh no, I'm not even a good drawer. I'm really not." And then they freaking draw something crazy, and it's just like I think that sandbagging in life is false modesty.
It is, and we recently watched Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the movie, the first one.
Good one.
And I remember when I was reading those books in like junior high school.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I was in high school, I got
freshman in college, and I read Roderick Rules.
There's a part in one of the Diary of a Wimpy Kids where he's talking about setting really low expectations so that when you do something, it's like the greatest thing. And his brother just leaves socks and underwear everywhere.
Yeah.
And then one day his dad is like, "When I come back, this underwear better be gone." And he actually cleans it up this time, and his dad is ecstatic.
Yeah.
It's like that. That's sandbagging.
Yeah, but that's honest, right? But like, if you're playing volleyball and you're like, "All right, guys, come on, let's make it interesting."
It's more slimy to do
I'm so bad at this game, dude. But I'll put in 5. And then you just freaking dunk on him. I don't know if you can dunk on someone in volleyball.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. What's it called?
Spike on him.
A spike? Yeah. Isn't it called like an ace if it hits the ground on a spike?
I don't know, but volleyball is going to be so fun to do as well.
Because we're going to have to play volleyball. Yeah. That's going to be a summer one.
Volleyball, dude.
Really?
It might be my favorite sport to play.
Wow.
And I'm not that tall.
And you're serious.
And I'm serious, dude. Before Mal and I started dating, we were at this activity playing volleyball. Mm-hmm. It was glow-in-the-dark volleyball. So the lights were off. Everyone had glow-in-the-dark things.
And did the ball glow?
The ball was glowing.
What?
But not everyone had that many glow-in-the-dark things. And my...
you just had a wristband.
No. My strong suit in volleyball is serving for some reason.
Okay.
I'm good at serving.
Okay.
And one time I served it and hit Malin right in the face.
Oh, no.
And you know what? I'm glad it hit Malin in the face because...
That was a connecting moment.
She's tough. She didn't even... I mean, she hardly noticed. Like, she was like, "Dude, I don't care."
Yeah.
But, like, I probably hit it pretty hard. Like, if it had hit another one of the girls on their team, I'd feel a lot worse.
Yeah.
It would have hurt more. But Malin, she's tough.
You're like, they called me Iron Arms back in the day.
Yeah. Double gun.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's about it that we had to talk about this. It's going to now transition into
the past.
The past.
So we didn't rate and review it?
No, and we're still not going to.
Okay. You know what we should do?
Huh.
Get a couple more decks.
Yeah.
Do a KeyForge Revisited episode.
Probably in a couple months.
Then rate and review. Yeah, we want to play more, but
this is like a thing. I like really love this game.
Dude, it's well made.
It's well made. The one downside of it, games take kind of a long time.
Yeah, that's true. But they'll get
faster.
Our games will get faster.
They'll get faster, and also that's just the expectation. It's just a bit longer.
Yeah, it's fine.
And we talk about that later.
That's what it's like when we play Commander and stuff. So.
Oh yeah, I mean Commander's just a friggin' long game, dude. Mm-hmm. But I like long games because then you can set up a strategy that you're that's like, true, you know what, 6 turns from now? Long-term goals versus I feel a lot of the time in 1v1 Magic, it's very like, I'm playing this thing, I don't even know if it's going to be there next turn, so I'm just going to
You just gotta do it.
go off the, the butt of my pants.
And long-term slower games are more of a hangout.
Yeah. Get a sparkling ice.
Yeah. Get some Skittles.
Get some Skittles.
Milky Way.
Yeah.
Whatever you like.
Whatever you got.
And
maybe some M&Ms and a Snickers. I don't know.
I'm gonna eat the last 4 Skittles here. They're each of one different color. I don't know
now?
if you do that, but I do that. Like if I can
I'm
see
really
all
against
of
that.
the Skittles, I only take the ones that there are the most of, until it's down to even number of each color, and then
That's really interesting.
Diminish.
If I'm pouring out my Skittles on a table, which I don't do often, I separate them into colors.
Okay.
And then I eat Skittles from the largest group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then I eat until it's even with the second largest group.
Mm-hmm.
Then I eat Skittles and then down like that until I have one of each. But I don't eat them all at the same time. I eat them one at a time.
What do you mean?
So like if there's yellow, green, red, purple, orange,
fuchsia,
I'll eat one yellow. Then I'll eat another yellow. Then I'll eat another yellow. But I don't mix them.
Oh.
Yeah, that's for when I have a bag in my hand and I'm just like, boom.
See, what I'll do is I'll be like, okay, my smallest group only has 3.
And I'm saving that till last.
Yeah. So the
Obviously.
other ones,
I think everybody does that.
I'm going to eat them consecutive, like at the same time. Like I'm like, okay, 2 orange, 1 green, 1 purple.
And you eat all those at the same time?
Not always, but sometimes. Like I bring them all down to 3.
What's the point?
Simultaneously.
Okay.
Mix and match flavors, dude. Otherwise it gets boring and loses its novelty, just like KeyForge.
And with that,
yeah, let's go ahead and end this.
Yeah.
End this. Future.
Right now. So we're gonna go into the reviews right now.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you all for listening. And now back to the future.
Thanks. Bye. We've got here some
reviews, right?
Some reviews. This is on Board Games Geek.
Board Game Geek.
Board Game Geeks.
Yeah. Board Game Geek.
Boards.
Game Geek.
I'm like, I know one of them is plural.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, so this is for specifically Call of the Archons set of KeyForge.
Okay, I think
Ours
that might be
not.
the first one.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Ours is the second one, but it has a lot of ratings, so I'm going to go ahead and read it because it's the same game. It's just different sets, different types of decks and stuff. Oh, do you want to guess? There's 11,000 ratings for this game out of 10.
Wow.
Use decimals if you would like to.
8.6.
7.2.
Lower.
Yeah, well, you also forgot that the highest rated board game is only like 8.4.
Oh, this is Board Game Geek.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was just like Google. And we talked about it so many times. I would have rated it so much lower if I knew that as number. Can I try again? Can I try again?
Yeah.
7.4.
Yep.
I got it?
Well, I had lied the first time because I knew you'd do that.
Really?
No, I'm just
okay.
7.2.
Wait, is it 7.2?
Yeah.
Dang it.
So you didn't even remember.
I didn't even remember. That shows my long-term memory.
Most of the ratings are 8 or 7.
Okay.
So here's a well, I'm not going to say what this guy's name is. Zwing. Zwiing.
Zwing.
He says it's a-okay card game that isn't super fun to play compared to others. The random complete decks are cool at first, but their novelty wears off pretty quick. I don't know, man. Maybe if you play it a ton and you're like, I kind of know all the cards. Like,
yeah. But I mean, wouldn't the novelty, like, if you're talking about other card games like Magic, right? If I build a new Pauper deck, it's going to have novelty at first, and then it's going to wear off.
Yeah.
But I'm not playing a card game for novelty. I'm playing a card game to figure out the strategy.
That's true.
So it's like, it always kind of, it like, when you play a card game and you have a deck, your relationship with that deck morphs over time. Because at first, you're drawing cards, you're learning about it. Even if you built the deck, there's going to be cards that you play in interactions that you didn't see.
Commander format where you have 100 cards.
Oh, yeah. You're going to be learning about cards for a while.
Yeah.
Even if you build the deck, you might throw a card in there. Like there are decks that I know that like I put a card in just because I was like, yeah, you know, people say it's a good card, or I have it and I just throw it in there, and I just keep learning about more and more about this card. And so that's how this is going to work. Is at first it's going to be novelty, and then it's going to be, let me master this. Let me figure it out, right?
Novelty becomes experience.
Hey, man.
Ideally.
Wow.
And I can see that happening with KeyForge.
Definitely.
But also, you made a good point, like, novelty is great.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I look for novelty when I'm playing a game. I think I just want to play a game.
Yeah. And quick side note to all this.
Okay.
Zwing is not here to give counterpoints about this stuff.
No,
we're not arguing with him. We're just talking about...
Yeah,
we're just using it as points of reference to start conversation about the game.
It's a different perspective.
Yeah.
That we
we respect it. We respect it from Zwing.
Yes, this whole room is creaking right now. I think there's wind outside.
I can see that there's wind outside.
Oh, good. Oh, do you want to guess what out of 10 he...
Out of 10? Is this on Board Games Geek?
Yeah.
5.
6.
6. Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So here's another one by 2 words. Sir Pent.
Like S-I-R, Pent?
Yeah.
That's really good. That's a good name.
That's pretty good. He says, has all the best parts of a CCG collection card game, I think. Collectible card game.
Collectible card game, yeah.
In parentheses.
Because it's not a trading card game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In parentheses, discovering powerful combos, etc.
Yeah.
Without the lame parts, in parentheses, super expensive, pay to win, overly complex.
Yeah.
I think he's right.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Is that the review?
That's the whole review.
Oh, beautiful review.
This isn't super expensive, and it's not pay to win because you have
no idea what you could not know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
we should probably explain, like, we got the starter pack, which gave us our decks full. Yeah. But in a real KeyForge situation, you go out, you spend $8 on a pack of cards, and you buy 2 of those. Okay, they're completely random. Obviously, they have synergy within them.
They're each unique.
Yeah, not random. They're unique. You take them and you shuffle them together, and that's your deck. Okay, that's it. So there's no way you could possibly know, oh, this is like the best strategy or whatever. You're just putting it together and playing. And obviously, there are going to be some cards that are better than others. They can't possibly make it so where every card is equal.
You shuffle them together, or is it like this where
you shuffle them together?
2 people?
Okay. No, you shuffle them. You shuffle 2 decks together.
Okay.
And I think that's because they want it to be as unique as possible. So it's like each deck is like around $20, which is super cheap when it comes to like card games and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is good for anti-pay to win.
Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and guess what he rated it?
8?
7.
7.
Yeah. So
just one off. My barometer is one tick to the left or right. That's fine. That's fine.
Sorry, I came across a review. By Doodlezook.
Okay.
He rated it a 5.
Okay.
And the review just says, sold to Josh 2019.
Sold to Josh.
But he wrote that review in December 2022. So I guess he's letting them know he's probably Josh, and he bought this in 2019.
And he just wanted to write it on
5 out of 10. Yeah, I didn't like it that much.
That's great, dude. Any more reviews?
Okay, you ready for this one?
I'm ready for this one.
Fresh Business.
How is business spelled?
Oh, it's spelled correctly.
Why? Why not like BIZNESS?
Come on, dude.
Business.
This guy's all about business.
I mean, yeah. You're right.
He's still fresh. He just, he
just all about business.
He doesn't play around.
Yeah, no.
This game was so close to being great for me. That's the first sentence.
Okay.
I love the one-of-a-kind pre-made decks. I love the unique objective of collecting amber. And I love the simple combat system. Yeah. However, there are a couple of major issues I have. 1. Faction selection. Choosing a faction to use for a turn sounded like a great idea, but in practice it felt limiting. I know there are cards that let you play out of faction, but for the most part, you can only use the cards for the faction you choose each turn. It frustrated me. 2. Games took too long. All of the games I played took over an hour to complete, which made things feel repetitive. That's the whole review.
Okay.
It did take you and I a while to get one key.
Yeah.
Total.
I think that we were also reading our cards for the first time.
Yeah.
Didn't know how to play, needed to know the keywords and everything. I have a feeling that these games could take a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, why not just say go to 2 keys?
Yeah,
how about whoever gets their first key wins?
I don't have a problem with that because any game, I need to stop scratching my beard. It's probably really
loud. We learned that.
We learned that. Any game has a time, like, there are games that are very quick.
Mm-hmm.
I like those games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any problem with games that are really long.
Yeah.
It just means that I play it less often.
Yeah.
But it's not really a negative for me. It becomes a bad experience when you're playing with people who aren't focused, so it takes twice as long than it normally would.
Exactly.
But when you and I are playing this game, when we're going to play in the future, it's going to get quicker and quicker.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be fun.
And also the thing about long form games is that, there's some games, like there's another game that I got that I'm so excited to show you and talk to you about, that those games maybe take 5-10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Like ever. Like that's the longest that they'll take.
Okay.
And so when you play that game, you expect to play multiple games, right? When you play KeyForge, we might just say, hey, let's just play one game of KeyForge really fast. Like, not really fast. We'll play one game of KeyForge. We
have an hour.
Have a good time, right? And then we'll go do something else, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like saying, like, this is actually true. Let me choose another game.
What?
I was going to say Monopoly, but sometimes the length of Monopoly can be a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true.
I mean, like, what's a long form game?
I mean,
chess isn't short.
Yeah. Maybe it can be.
Maybe, I mean, Commander. Commander's a perfect example, right? We're sitting down to play Commander. I'm not going to say, I don't like Commander because it takes too long. It's like, okay, well, that's par for the course. Like, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
So, you could either, like, play it or not play it. It's kind of, but then that kind of just, I mean, if he doesn't like long form games, don't play them.
Yeah, that's true.
Sense. And then when it comes to picking the houses, that's like one of my favorite things about the game. So that's just personal preference. I love that idea because it's like, are you going to attack or are you going to play a bunch of cards?
Yeah.
Are you going to reap your cards or are you going to play cards? What is the most valuable thing? And that's good.
For both players.
That's good.
And it is good.
I think that's something that you and I don't mind as much as a lot of people. Like in Marvel Snap. The whole, well, I mean, let's not say a lot of people. That's something that you and I don't mind. Okay. That some people do, right? Like
limiting
how
things.
In Marvel Snap, it's like, the locations can be really, really overbearing. Like they can really limit you. But as long as it's limiting both people, I don't care.
Yeah, as long as it's neutral.
Because I'll work through it. Yeah, right? Same definitely. With this. Like we both have to deal with the houses being limiting. And therefore, it's not like one person has a crazy advantage, right?
Right.
That's just fine. Except for when you're playing Logos and you get a crazy turn and you get to draw like 5 cards.
Whatever, dude. You had freaking Sanctum
come
in at the end and got 4
I think 5. I got 7. So
no, you won't.
I had 7 Ember at the end of the turn.
Okay, so
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
that was crazy. That was
wild, but that's fun, man. It's fun.
Yeah, losing.
Why don't you go ahead and guess what Fresh Business rated out of 10?
6.
7.
Dang it! The barometer's one off.
I knew that you would. Anyway.
Okay.
So, you and I played this game until one of us, which happened to be you, just circumstance, nothing to do with strategy.
Sure.
Unlocked a key, which is 1/3 of one game. Hypothetically. So you and I are not going to rate and review this game today.
No.
Just talking about it.
I don't feel comfortable rating and reviewing a game that, I have a very, very slim understanding of. What I'll say is I like it.
I like it already.
I really like it, and I'm really excited to play it again. It's going to have a positive review.
Yes.
And we're going to have a lot of really cool things to say about it. I can guarantee you that. The thing is that I just don't, I want to get another deck. I want to play a lot more with you, and I want to figure out what are the things that I like and what are the things that I don't like. Because at first, it's kind of like you're just rolling with the punches. You're going for it. And something that I like now, I might dislike later. And there's no way that I'm just going to throw up a review about this.
Yeah.
Right now.
Do we want to call this part 1 or because, for example, when we do Halo Reach, it will probably be a 2-parter because it will be just one long episode.
Yeah.
This will not be like that.
No.
It's more like Marvel Snap.
Where it's going to have like episode 2.
Yeah.
Where Marvel Snap wasn't part 1, but we are going to have Marvel Snap part 2. You know what I mean? So like this is one of the, like we are just, and in Marvel Snap, we could have gone into way more detail in our first episode, but we decided to split it up into the 2.
So it was Marvel Snap and then Marvel Snap Revisited.
So how about we do KeyForge Revisited?
Okay.
We're going to play it. We're going to get to know this game.
Probably be down the road, not too far away, because we're going to want to be playing this.
Yeah.
And it's just going to take a few more games probably before we have a way better idea.
100%. So yeah, thank you, dude. Thank you a lot for this game.
You're welcome, man.
I'm super grateful for this.
Dude, I'm glad that it was fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you liked it. Yeah. I'm glad that it worked.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it worked.
Yeah, that was really fun. I was really excited for this.
So to end off our episode.
Okay.
In the Christmas spirit, which is now dwindled for our listeners, but to us, fresh and new.
Yeah.
I got you a gift.
Thank you.
It is not a game.
Okay.
But I think that it would be fun to hear the uncrinkling wrapping paper sounds and for you to go, oh, yeah, what's this? And then I can explain it to you. It's not a game.
Okay, I'm going to move my mic away a little bit.
Okay. Wow. That was heavy.
Slam that.
You just had to let everybody know.
All right. This is it?
Yep, that's it.
Right here with the Sesame Street wrapping.
Yep. Do you like that wrapping paper?
Yeah, I do. It's got all the colors on it.
Yep.
Okay. I see wooden things.
Do you like wooden things?
I do. Ooh, it's one of these wooden things. Oh, it's a marble run.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
So I get to build this?
Yep.
That is so exciting.
It comes in like sheets of wood.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to build this week.
Nice, dude.
It's got screw nuts in it?
Yep.
Wow. You thought of everything.
Yeah, I built it.
Oh man, this is cool, dude.
Yeah.
My little brother has some of these things. Yeah. I like them, dude.
I have one of those, and it is really fun to put together.
The level is 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, it's
advanced.
Advanced. Well, I think that you're a pretty advanced guy.
You know what? This is kind of a game, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Not really, but
that is gonna be so loud.
I know I'm doing it like down here, but it's still. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of a game. It's like a single player game because you're gonna be putting it together, and then you're gonna be, It's
a puzzle.
It's a puzzle. That's what it is.
And I like puzzles.
Nice, dude.
Do you like puzzles?
I love puzzles.
Really?
This Christmas.
Well, you love games too.
Oh my gosh, dude, I love games.
Okay.
Unrelated note, I love games.
All right.
But this Christmas, my mom got me a pack of 10 Rubik's Cubes.
Okay.
But they're not your daddy's Rubik's Cubes.
Okay.
They're like cubes that have different shapes to them. And like when you mix them all up, they look like crazy geometric shapes and stuff. And they were bending my brain.
Really?
Last night. Oh yeah.
That's
it
cool,
was
dude.
rough. Yeah, so I love puzzles.
Yeah.
I love games. I just like using my noggin.
Yeah.
And this will definitely get using your noggin. For. He's using them, dude. They're
this is gonna stretch my noggin to its limits.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow.
But yeah, dude, there's like this piston stair run on it. It's really
so
cool.
Sweet.
It's really cool. So yeah.
Sandpaper included.
Yep.
Shaft sleeves. That's awesome.
Nice.
All right, thank you, man.
Yeah, dude. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. This will probably be like the end of January.
I know, dude. It's gonna be. It's so crazy. At some point, I don't know. Maybe we'll try and well, not really, because I want to have a backlog.
Yeah,
it's important.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it all out.
So there it is, dude. KeyForge and Marble parkour.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yep.
So I guess that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Yep. Thank you guys
Holden.
so much for listening to this. You know, it means a lot to us.
I hope it's not as grueling as doing something like this could be.
Yeah, definitely.
It hopefully won't be. Anyway.
Also, recently, we kind of celebrated our 100th
100th listen.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
that's
because
crazy.
That means that at least one of those listens wasn't someone that we knew.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Is wild.
Someone just found the podcast
and just likes it,
and
if that's
clicked
you,
on it,
dude. God bless you, brother or sister, whoever you are. That is so sick.
Matter of fact, if someone's listening to this that doesn't know us personally, reach out, dude.
Definitely reach out. We want to know who you guys are.
We haven't provided a way for you to reach out yet.
Nope, but just do it.
We have an email. It's freegamepodcast@gmail.com.
So it's free game podcast or it's free game podcast?
It's free game podcast.
Okay, so quote it's free game podcast.
Should I double check right now?
Double check right now.
We also have an Instagram, but by the time this comes out, things will have been posted. But at the time of recording, nothing has been posted.
Yeah, reach out. Let us know who you are, where you're from.
What's your favorite
game? What's your favorite game? That would be so interesting to know.
What do you want?
And also, let us know, like, hey, if you're like, hey, we want more video games, let us know, and we'll try and get that.
Right. Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
It's free game?
It's freegamepodcast@gmail.com.
Okay, perfect.
Address. I check it every month, maybe more.
Hey.
So I'll get there.
That's awesome.
So Kibo, take us out.
Hey, free game, talking gaming day and night. This the show that you've been missing, guaranteed to get you hyped. Up, down, left, start, better charge up your controller. The show is taking over with Justin and with Holden. Hey, phase 10, Halo Reach, Magic the Gathering. Plenty games we talking, cause that's what we got a passion in. Hey, restart, run it back, let's play like we in the arcade. Homie, this is free game, let's go.